Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Now, I know I did say 9:30, but I was hungry, and of course, the news came out about Joshua and Jarrell Miller with a ticket sale. So, I had to do that video. Hopefully, you've all checked out the video. In fact, it seems to be flying off the shelf. Now, welcome back, everybody, and we shall carry on where we left off. And of course, with the new updated news about Joshua and Miller and the record-breaking Madison Square Garden ticket sales for a boxing event was broken, and it just took 2 hours. 2 hours, people. Now, I know some people will probably say, well, it's StubHub, it's StubHub. Well, this comes direct from Madison Square Garden, so it ain't StubHub. And even if it was, it doesn't really matter because Wilder vs. Fury was also on StubHub. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. Hey, how everybody doing? Obviously, I'm not going to touch the chat, so I can only just see chat. Actually, let's do a bit of screen share, shall we? Come on, click the button. Here we go. Okay, so right, so who's in there? Big Boys Boxing is back. All right, bruv. Scarsy, what's up? Tool B, yeah, his butt cheeks are squeaking now, that's for sure. Riberio Carlos, what is up? Danny S, we're back. Yes, we are. Blue Sky, heavyweight king of the world, AJ. Yes, Jack, High Sporting. Hello there. Reality's voice. Twincher, what's up? One Love. Trevor Downs, Tony B, Kento, Vital Fusion, Scarsy, Jim POV, Grivas, etc., etc. I hope everybody's doing good. Kento, what is up? Back on Barbados. You're lucky, 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 lucky. I'd love to go to Barbados. I really would. Nexus, what is up? Canvas Bed. You having a panel at all? I was thinking about it. I might just do that actually. So I'll chat with everybody in a bit. Why are you up and are you available to come on, Jono? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Absolutely. What is going on with this chat? Honestly, it's yes, Onyx, definitely. Dylan, Ronnie, Philip, Simple Boy, BMW, Stuart, Adam, Mark. Oi, oi. So yeah, salute to everybody. Now, as I say, it's 10 p.m. I was going to do about 9:30, but as I said, I was a little bit hungry, and I had that video to do, and that video is doing well. It's got everybody's interest. It really has, and it's great news. As I said, I know that some people are saying about it's going to be StubHub, and it's not StubHub. This is pre-sale tickets, pre-sale. So most people with a Fight Pass member on Matchroom, you can get them. If you're a member of the Madison Square Garden ticket thing, forum, whatever the hell it is, that's where they all come from. Okay. But it broke a record in just 2 hours. But yet Wilder says, and all his fanatical fans say, but Joshua, he's not known in America. Well, quite clearly he is. Quite clearly he is. More known than Wilder. In fact, Joshua and Miller sold in 2 hours more than what Wilder versus Ortiz did on the night, as in at all. So let's go. This really does go to show. Deontay's at Oxford this month, is he? Kento booked flights to be at April for age. Oh no. Well, maybe you can change them and go to New York. If you had a choice, Khan, Fury, or AJ, who'd you go to see? Good question. Good question. Well, it'd be between Tyson and AJ for me. Wilder and Lewis now eating humble pie. Well, you see all these fanatical fans, they'll be scrambling around trying to make up stories and lies to try and counteract this. And oh, it's not true, or it's all hype, it's all PR, it's not real. It is real. It is real. TBV, eat some humble pie. A load of people need to eat humble pie. Because for those people who say that this event just isn't going to sell, Well, clearly it is, right? Clearly it is. This is good news for Cheeseburger Miller. His popularity has just skyrocketed. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, there may be some people out there who's going to try and come up with the thing, well, it's Jarrell Miller because it's in New York. Um, yeah, but Miller doesn't sell in New York. We know that. But you put Joshua on there. Listen, he's quite clearly taken over America. People want to see Joshua. Why does my chat keep doing that? It keeps hiding some people's comments. What's going on? There we go. Release it. Um, Cheeseburger going to eat by AJ. Yeah. It's only a tiny venue. That's why people are rushing for tickets. Oh, could be. Could be. I mean, it's 21,000. So yeah. Oh, are they? Oh, okay. Are the channels already coming out making excuses for it? Are they? Oh, okay. So Matchroom bought the tickets, did they? Uh huh. Well, it's gonna be pretty embarrassing if it's an empty arena on the night, isn't it? Anybody? How they doing this when Wilder vs Fury didn't sell out? Exactly, because it's the name of Joshua. Joshua is just a huge, huge name in America. No matter how you look at it, people will try and come out with excuses. People will try and counteract all this, but you know it's just gonna be lies. It's just pure lies. Okay, humble pie, not really, mate. Good for Joshua Miller. Yeah, exactly, bad guy. Exactly, good for them. Miller will be more known than Wilder after this fight. Maybe. AJ's a king, no doubt about that. Joshua is a phenomenon. Just stop by StubHub site. There's barely any seats available by the ring. Yep. Anthony Joshua, big up. Do you think Fury will have the rematch? I don't know. I hope that Fury does not have sign a rematch. That's my honest opinion. I don't want to see that. It's just pointless. In my honest opinion, it's absolutely pointless. If he's going to beat Wilder, beat him, and then go for undisputed, or take on the winner of Dylan White versus Brazil. There's no need for a trilogy, one after the other. For all the Wilder fanatics who would be up for it, saying, yeah, it definitely needs to happen or whatever, they'll are the same ones who are criticizing the Triple G Canelo Part 2 even. So, AD, what's up? Shabazz, Malik, um, yeah, StubHub, yeah. I said with StubHub, they were available for Wilder vs Fury as well, along with Groupon and plenty of other ones. But no, this isn't StubHub. This is from Madison Square Garden. So those who go onto the Madison Square Gardens website, and if you're a member of them, if you're a member of Matchroom's Fight Pass, all those kind of ones, these are the ones that's been released. So this is pre-fight. This is not open to all. Seriously, again, my chat keeps stopping people's comments. What's going on? There we go. Released it. Many might be unknown, but I guarantee fast food joints are packing. Gary Smith, what's up? James Hold, Canvas Bed. Joshua is the biggest star in the world. Yep. I was just on BFTB. I sent my email. You don't want that. Who the hell is BFTB? I'm looking forward to Joshua Miller, believe it or not. Cheeseburgers. Yeah, damn right. Damn right. I mean, I look forward to all the fights. I look forward to Wilder vs Fury 2. I look forward to White vs Brazil, Joshua Miller, Povetkin versus Parker or Chisora, whoever it may be, whoever's fighting each other. I look forward to all of them. James Bennett, wiseness. What? Sorry, Wilder's poisonous mouth needs to be left in the cold. Yep. McDonald's sponsoring Miller. Yeah. Warren Stillcott. What's up? Moosey boy. Front end. Do you reckon Miller might give AJ some trouble or not like AJ? I think Miller will give him a bit of trouble. I think Josh will need to be a bit cautious, and he needs to get his cardio right for this fight. That's my honest opinion. But yeah, hopefully Joshua wins. Listen, I like Miller. I've liked Miller for a little while now. Um, And yeah, I mean, he's a good guy. A lot of what people see on camera isn't really what Miller is. I've spoken to Miller on a couple of times, and he's a real nice guy. He really is. So all the trash talk about Joshua is literally just that. It's just trash talk. Going to be a good year of boxing. Absolutely correct. Um, Crikey, all the chat is jumping here and everywhere. Even if there's another rematch between Fury and Wilder, it does not have to happen instantly. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um, so if Fury wins, Wilder get a rematch. Listen, this fight's been ordered. Okay, it's not a voluntary. So there didn't even have to be a rematch in there. And the WBC could go against it and say, no, you need to fulfill your mandatory, whoever the winner is. And that would be the winner of White and Brazil. So, or unification against Joshua or potentially Miller. You never know, right? And the Yanks say AJ can't get the numbers. Exactly. Exactly. Miller beats Wilder, but will eat canvas on June the 1st. Could be right there. Could be right. I'm begging for undisputed. Miller couldn't outbox a kangaroo. I like a Skippy the bush kangaroo. Hope AJ get KO'd, but can't see it. What would you want AJ to get KO'd for? Why would you want that? If you're American, fair enough. Oh, somebody got timed out for some other reason. More I think about this, it'd be a good fight, Josh versus Miller. Don't know if Miller can knock out AJ though. Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, Miller's not a bigger puncher as I thought he was going to be. I mean, for quite some time, he looked like a big puncher, but as his level of opposition was moving up, yeah, his power just hasn't really been there. What do you think of the rumors that Frank has bought over 1,000 tickets and put on the stub for double the face value? What, Frank? What, Frank Warren? Reading about Frank Smith. Okay, so lots of channels are going a little bit mad, are they? About the ticket sales. Oh dear, oh diddums, oh diddums. Listen, it's boxing. Be happy about it. Loads of people want to go see Joshua, just because they don't. They'd rather see Joshua than see Wilder. So what? Should that stop you from supporting Wilder? Should this make you upset? No, it's making boxing popular in America. Whether it's Joshua, whether it's Fury, whether it's White, whether it's Wilder, whether it's Miller, whether it's Kaunaki, whatever it may be at heavyweight, just embrace it. I mean, come on. I don't know why people like these channels just want to try and throw cold water over it. Listen, these people are hoping that Joshua Miller's going to be a flop. It's not a flop. All they can hope for now is that Miller beats Joshua. That's all they can hope for. We'd agree. What's up? Volume is Miller's biggest advantage. Yeah, exactly. He throws so many punches. Mr. Pigeon Jr., what's up? Ad Liberty. Didums in a word. Yeah, exactly. Sage, what's up? Arjun. Oh, 7. Thank you very much. Vidal Fusion, there needs to be a fight between Fury, Miller, and White. Well, yeah. Boxing wins regardless. Exactly, okay. Boxing wins regardless. Regardless. Now, you see, I can criticize certain fighters, and other people can criticize certain fighters that I like, but ultimately, listen, it makes boxing interesting, doesn't it? If I didn't criticize Wilder, then people wouldn't really know who Wilder was. If people didn't criticize Joshua in America. You see, all these fanatical channels who've been talking about Joshua and Eddie Hearn constantly, video after video after video, trying to chastise him, have made them popular. Where they think that they're trying to harm the reputation, they're actually enhancing it. That's all it is. That's all it is. They're enhancing it. Thank you, we'd agree. Thank you thank you very much. Actually, John, well, let me stop screen sharing for a second. And I'll get your email up. Hopefully, it's still in there. I can remember how to do this. And we'll get him on. Okay. All right, Jono, I've sent you a link. Hopefully, you see it. Jin of Wak Fan Club. Miller's a big dude. Yes, he is. Darth Nihilus, Tony Machiavelli. Fat Apples, what's up? AJ will be the undisputed linear champion in 2 years. Said this 6 years ago. You could be right. Could be right. You never know. Maybe Brazil will be the undisputed champion. Maybe Dylan White will be. Maybe Fury will be. Maybe Wilder will be. And maybe AJ will be. Maybe Miller will be. You just never know, do you? You just never know. Never know. It's true, bad guy, isn't? Who was kicking in Wilder before I was? Nobody. Who's talking about Wilder before I was? Nobody. I made that punk famous. And how does he thank me? Wilder blocks me on social media. Gutted. I haven't slept since. How come so many people are getting timed out? What's happening in the timeouts? Hold back on the spanners, people. Hold back. Hold back. Who's AJ going to spar? What, for Miller? Good question. He's somebody with a high volume punches. Maybe Andy Ruiz Jr. That'd be a good one. New Day, what's up? Alexandra Ribeiro. Imagine Miller pulling a Buster Douglas. Damn. Charlie, what's up? Trump's hairdresser back again. What's up? Ice O'Shea. Jono.
What's up, bro?
How are you?
Not too bad, man. And yourself?
Fantastic. So give me your thoughts on the within 2 hours, Joshua versus Miller broke Madison Square Garden records for a boxing event.
Well, I didn't think it was going to do quite that well. But I've always said that I thought it was going to sell out. You know, I've spoken to quite a few US fans, and they're quite skeptical about whether it was going to sell out or not. You know, I'm guessing their minds have probably changed now. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that things went that quickly. But I guess when general sales start happening, we're going to get a better idea. Of course, when it first opens, there's going to be a big influx of ticket sales, but whether it'll sell out straight away or not, I don't know. We'll soon see. It's looking good though.
Yeah. Allegedly, it's 13,000 sold out. Sold so far, or 13,000 in the first 2 hours, which was 4 hours ago.
Yeah. How many does MSG hold?
Just under 21.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it should sell out no problem then. Look, there's only what 8,000 to go, so
Yeah, that's it.
7,000.
And the Wilder said that this show will flop, and it shows that Miller and AJ are just not popular in America.
Yeah, I couldn't fathom the logic behind that, considering, you know, it's not that big a flight for the UK fans. I mean, the UK fans could sell out that stadium by themselves without even one US fan being in there, for God's sake. So,
That's right.
yeah, and the
Do you think
sellout is
maybe
a sellout. It doesn't matter where the tickets the ticket buyers come from.
No, exactly right. Do you think that a lot of it is that the UK fans are so used to having to scramble for tickets, even when it's like 80, 90,000? So even though it's in New York, people have just jumped on them like right now because it's not that many available in comparison to what it usually is.
Quite possibly, yeah. Yeah, nobody wants to miss out.
No, no, that's it. That's it. No, that's good news. Although, what's happened
Yeah.
with your lad, Parker?
I did see an article yesterday. Looks like David Higgins and Eddie Hearn are going to be talking this week about a potential Derek Chisora Joseph Parker fight. But Joseph's used to getting pretty good money, so Higgins has quite blatantly said the deal will have to be right. I don't know how much money is going to be in that fight.
Well, Parker would have to be the A side for that, wouldn't he? It'd have to be.
Well, you'd think so, but you know, a lot of people are always coming off 2 losses, you know, not considering who he's actually lost to.
Yeah.
You know, losses are losses, so that damages your stock. Of course, it does damage your stock, but you know, he's lost to the unified world champion and a guy who's ranked number one in two sectioning bodies. So
Exactly.
it is what it is.
Exactly right. Although 2 months ago, Povetkin said that Eddie Hearn promised him a fight in April. So I think Eddie Hearn was trying to push for the Dylan White versus Povetkin one, but obviously now with the WBC mandatory with Brazil situation popping up, that leaves Povetkin out in the lurch. Would you mind seeing Parker versus Povetkin?
I'd like that fight, but personally, I think Alexander Usyk is going to end up fighting Alexander Povetkin, which I also think is a damn good fight.
Who's that one?
Alexander Usyk
Mm.
versus Povetkin.
Do you think that maybe that this might be the wrong kind of debut fight at heavyweight for Usyk? I mean, it might not be, but
I don't know. He's fought plenty of heavyweights in the amateurs. It's nothing new to him. I mean, the only difference will be he's not going to have to make weight in his body. You have to be used to being heavier, but he's taken some decent amount of time to eat well and condition himself as a heavyweight. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. There's a lot of different opponents possible for Usyk, and I do hear that he has to make a decision whether he wants the WBO mandatory or not before the end of the month. Otherwise, Dillian White's going to get it. So we should get some news about Usyk very soon.
well, I mean, there's no reason why he shouldn't accept that WBO thing because it looks like Dillian White's going a different route anyway with Brazil. I think if you offer Dillian White the chance to fight the winner of Wilder Fury or the winner of Joshua Miller, I think he'd choose Wilder Fury winner.
Yeah, there's probably less money in it, but that's the fight he wants, really, isn't it? He can always,
exactly.
if he wins that fight, he could get into an undisputed fight with Joshua, which in the long run would end up being more than fighting him as a mandatory.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it could work out good for him. Of course, beats Brazil, then potentially, of course, beat the winner of Wilder Fury, and then undisputed with Joshua. That would work out, but that's one hell of a risk, though, isn't it?
It is, but at the same time, if he's building a US profile, it's only going to benefit him in the long run as well. It'll give him better options for fights all around the world. So,
yeah,
it's
that's
all
true.
good.
That's true. I heard that Michael Hunter was in talks with Derek Chisora as well. You heard that one?
No, I heard Eddie wanted to put him in with Carlos Takam.
Sorry, that was it. Yes, you're right. Yeah, sorry, it's Takam.
Yeah, that's a very interesting fight. I'd probably actually pick Hunter on that. I think Takam's on the slide after, being beaten a few times these days, and he's getting on. He must be 38 or something like that now. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm still kind of hoping that we see Povetkin versus Ortiz, but it don't look at it. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. I know that you're pretty cool with the Ortiz versus Hammer fight, aren't you?
Oh, it's okay. It's a stay busy fight, but Hammer hasn't been active, so it's hard to say where he is. He kind of had improved himself. At the start of his career, he was pretty shit, but he seemed to concentrate on boxing a lot more than whatever else he was doing, and he did get somewhat better. Beating the likes of Price was pretty good, and a few other things here and there, but Luis Ortiz. That was actually something I was supposed to mention when you brought up Joseph Parker. The article I read last night, if the Derek Chisora fight doesn't come off, apparently Luis Ortiz is on Joseph Parker's radar. So that's a fight that they would like.
I'd like that fight. I'd be very, very excited about that fight.
Me too.
And
I wasn't so happy about it a little while ago because I didn't think Joseph Parker could handle southpaws very well. But with Luis Ortiz's age, I think it's a pretty decent fight these days.
well, I think that with Parker, he's the biggest criticism that I could have given him with him fighting Hughie Fury, Joshua, and Dylan White was the fact that he just didn't show that angry side that we saw from him earlier on in his career. But if he can get that angry side back and go for knockouts, listen, he can take out anyone.
Well, that was one of the big selling points for Kevin Barry to take him on. Was he's seen that killer instinct and he thought, yeah, I can use that with this guy and go somewhere with it. And once he started fighting the likes of Carlos Takam, Andy Ruiz, and so on and so forth, it seemed to disappear. So I don't know how they're going to get it back, but maybe a couple of losses is given him a bit of a shot of enthusiasm. Hopefully, he'd certainly need it, even if he got in the ring against Derek Chisora, I think. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, with the new way that Chisora is fighting now, with that pressing style, it's going to need a big puncher to put him in his track. So um, Parker will have to rough him up. He's going to have to play dirty
yeah, it's going to be
because
interesting
Chisora
to
played dirty.
see. It's going to be interesting to see how Chisora fights in his next fight, taking on David Caldwell. Whether the style's going to change much or not.
Mm. Well, it's almost like a bit late in the tooth for him to do that, but Dave Caldwell is a very good tactician, so who knows?
Indeed, yeah.
Who knows? I mean, I like David Caldwell. I know a lot of people don't, but I like him. He's done well with Bellew, and of course, done well with Anthony Fowler so far, and Jordan Gill and the McDonough brothers. So he's a very good trainer.
No, he's hooked up with David Hay in his prime when he really was a great boxer as well.
That's right.
So yeah,
That's
he's
right.
got to be pretty decent.
No, that's right. I mean, for me, I was never a huge fan of Don Charles anyway. I mean, he didn't really achieve too much with Chisora, and same with Ian Lewison as well, and Frank Buglioni and others. He's just not a top coach, in my opinion, or he's not disciplined, or sorry, he didn't instill discipline in his fighters. Could be that because a lot of them always turn up fat and out of shape.
Yeah, they seem to lack motivation a lot of the time, don't they? And that's surely got to be somewhat the coach's fault as well. So
Mm, yeah, that's
yeah.
right. That's right. Well, what other kind of a heavyweight boxing news are there? Any kind of rumors or confirmed fights lately? Oh, Pulev versus Helenius.
Yeah, that's off.
Is that off now?
Yeah, it's been off for about a week.
Oh,
Apparently, they couldn't come to terms. It's seems to be a bit of a common theme. I've been mentioning it in a couple of my live streams that if it's a very competitive fight with Pulev, it's almost impossible to make. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a pretty damn good fight. If Helenius could come in fit and not ill with no injuries, it could have been a very, very good fight. But
Mm,
we're not going to see it, unfortunately. So I'm not sure whether Pulev's going to try and find another opponent for that date or not.
mm.
But yeah, very disappointing. I was looking forward to that fight.
It wouldn't be a bad idea, unless Ajit Kabiel's got an opponent yet. We'll have to see how good he is against Pulev. Not a bad matchup.
Oh, I think he does have an opponent. I'm not at my computer right now, but that would have been a good matchup for sure for the EBU title.
Yeah.
And Otto Wallen is still the EBU mandatory, but he's taken step aside until he gets his coach sorted out at the moment.
Mm.
But yeah,
Well,
Hellenius versus.
would you be against Ortiz dropping Hammer and maybe fighting Pulev? Would that be a more interesting fight for you?
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah!
Be a great one,
That
wouldn't it?
would be very interesting indeed.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, where do you think that Huey Fury is going to go now?
I don't know. He should be due to just about announce a new fight. They were talking about April for him, weren't they? So
Yeah, I think they'll have
hopefully we're
to
gonna.
soon. Otherwise, they're going to have to remove him from the British heavyweight title.
Yeah, that's a point. He got mandated to fight Joe Joyce for that, didn't he?
Yeah, and he didn't want it for whatever reason.
Okay, if he turns it down, then he's just gonna have to vacate if he hasn't already vacated now.
No, that's right. Oh yeah,
Mm.
speaking of which, there was talks of potentially having a Commonwealth title on the line because it seems that Joe Joyce, ever since he beat Leroy Thomas for the Commonwealth, because he hasn't actually defended that belt since, and he keeps fighting others, that he may have to give up the Commonwealth, and that might be on the line for Dave Allen versus Lucas Brown.
No, that makes sense. Why not? Mm. Have you spoken to Dillian much since the announcement? Do you think this April 20th date is going to be realistically made? Because that's also supposed to be the date for um, Lucas Brown versus Dave Allen as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that they're going to scrap that date because they've, unless of course they can agree terms like pretty soon.
Mm.
Otherwise, because I think that they're going to order the purse bid for it early part of April, which
Yeah,
seems quite
19th.
far away. But
Mm.
and they are talking about maybe having it in America as well. So
Yeah, I know Dominic Brazil wants it in America, doesn't he? So
yeah, yeah. I
we'll
mean,
see.
I don't know what the split is for this though, because Brazil is the mandatory, but Dylan White is the silver champion. So I don't really know
It's
who
come.
gets the high one.
It's been published that it's 50-50 if it
Oh,
goes
it is
to purse bid.
50-50.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that they may have put Brazil as the A side in that one. I actually
I
thought,
thought they may have too, but apparently the WBC, considering that Dillian White's the silver champion and also ranked number one with the WBC, that warrants it being 50-50. So I'm down with that. That's fair to me.
that's very fair. Yeah, very fair. Okay, well, it'll be interesting to see if they can work out something before a purse bid, but it does sound like it's going to be either end of June or early July, so it may just be like a couple of weeks before or after Joshua Miller.
Yeah, true that. I was wondering, since Eddie Hearn signed Philip Hergovic and he's supposed to be debuting in May sometime
Hmm.
in the US, maybe they could possibly put White versus Brazil as the lead event on the card that Hergovic was possibly going to be on for the zone. I
That's a
don't
good.
know. I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Do you rate Herjavec? Well, you do because I've seen your video. But do you
Yeah,
think
man,
that?
I think he's the best prospect. I think he's the hottest prospect in the world at the moment. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got a top five for my prospects. I've got Philip Hergovic, um, Effa Jugba at number two.
Hmm.
Third, I've got who was it?
You've got
Daniel
Dubois.
Dubois.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Nathan Gorman and um, Vladislav Serenko at number five.
I've never seen
That's my
Serenko.
top
Right?
five prospects.
No, I've never seen that Serenko.
But I guess, yeah, you haven't seen him. He's
No.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
He's not very big though. He's about the same size as Gorman. So
Oh,
um,
okay. It'll be interesting to see
when
what
it
it is that
comes to the
Eddie Hearn does.
sorry, what was that?
So it'll be interesting to see what it is that Eddie Hearn does with Herjavec.
Yeah, well, they're moving him along pretty quickly, so it's not going to be cheap for him to get opponents that want to step in the ring for him because he's a risky guy to face as well.
They wouldn't risk him against Povetkin, would they?
So,
He wouldn't dare do that, would he?
ooh, that's interesting. I'm sure Hergovit would want to take on because he will fight anybody. Um, but yeah, I don't know if Eddie would like to risk that. Or the Sauerlands, to be honest.
Well, what about him
Interesting.
versus Kuzmin?
Yeah, I think Kuzman's a more realistic choice. Hergovic's also beaten Kuzman in the amateurs, so
Has
he
he?
knows what he's getting. Yeah, he also beat Parker in the amateurs, by the way.
Did he really?
Yeah, I think that's the fight that Joseph Parker had a burst eardrum, but it still went the
Oh,
distance,
yeah.
and Hergovic got the nod.
Hmm.
I actually
Oh,
watched it last night. It's available on YouTube.
okay. Well, maybe you can have Herjavec against Joseph Parker's other former amateur fighter in Junior Fighter.
Well, there you go. That's an option, but I've got my doubts about how fast they're going to step up Junior Far. They're trying to do a Deontay Wilder with him because he's promoted by Lou DiBella Entertainment. So
Oh, is he?
he's got it. Yeah, he's got a fight coming up late March
Hmm.
against a fairly low level uh, journeyman again. So I'm a bit disappointed with how he's getting moved along. But
Okay,
hopefully we'll
good.
see something soon.
He's quite a good amateur though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a Commonwealth Games bronze medalist, and he was the guy that kind of the last time he beat Joseph Parker, that was the turning point for Parker to go, well, stuff it, I'm going to go pro. So,
Right.
yeah,
Did
he's a
Parker
pretty good rangy fighter. Sorry, what was that?
does Far and Joseph Parker get on? I was wondering maybe that these two can get it on at some point.
Oh, it's probably a good domestic clash for a year or two down the track, depending on how they go, um, how well they get stepped up. But um, listening to Kevin Barry after the Flores fight, because they were both on that card, there was a lot of people calling for Junior Farr versus Joseph Parker, and Kevin Barry says, "Well, look, when just Junior Farr fights somebody that's inside the top 100, we could possibly start thinking about it. But as it stands, he has not got a resume or a profile that warrants a fight against Joseph Parker because Joseph Parker won't fight for less than under $1 million these days. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose. I mean, that's kind of like with like a most pro fighters, isn't it? When you start earning like a certain amount, obviously he earned huge money against Huey Fury, and then Joshua for certain, and then Dylan White. So going down to under a million will feel like he's working for free, won't it?
pretty much, yeah.
Mm. No, it's a shame. It's a shame. Although I still want to see Parker versus Brown, and I feel that that boat sailed now.
Yeah, well, I was interested in the interview I saw with David Higgins yesterday. He was saying there's still some fights available in our part of the world, I think were his words. Now, we know Lucas Brown has a plan at the moment. Who else is down here besides Lucas Brown, Junior Farr? Pretty much. They're not seriously, they can't be looking at a prospect like Willis Meehan or Hemi here or anybody like that, considering they're looking for somebody with a profile where they can make some money. So
Mm.
maybe the Lucas Brown fight is still on the table to a degree, but he's talking about fighting Allen, then Price, and someone else as well. Oh, he's fighting Kamil Sokolowski in a couple of weeks or something as well, isn't he? So,
That's a risky move for him
yeah, indeed.
because Sokolowski he went the distance with Nathan Gorman like a last fight out. He knocked out Nick Webb and Naylor Bull.
Yeah,
It's a bit of a risk for him, but
it is indeed.
I mean, mate, it's a good test. But I mean, if he gets hurt in that fight, because it's what 2 3 weeks before April 20.
Yeah, yeah. I hope he's not underestimating Sokolowski. He could get himself in some deep shit.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, I am hearing as well that potentially they may have, although April 20 might not be the exact date now, but that Lucas Brown versus Dave Allen as a headliner at maybe the Copper Box, which is like a smaller arena of about 7,500.
that'd work.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
would.
I, I think Lucas Brown has a little bit of a following over there in the UK, and plenty of people love Dave Allen, so I'm sure they'd have no problem filling out the copper box.
Yeah. Well, he's a Ricky Hatton fighter, isn't he? So, Ricky Hatton's like a legend in the UK. So,
He's not a Ricky Hatton fighter anymore.
is he not? Okay, they're separated now, then.
Nah. You're talking about Lucas Brown, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. The last fight he had under Ricky Hatton was that fight down here in New Zealand against whatever his name was, the local lad. Can't remember. Top
Oh,
of
that's
my
just
head.
Samoan guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, Paddy.
and yeah, yeah.
Paddy.
That was I saw an interview that was from Lucas Brown saying, "Yeah, we're parting ways. This is the last fight on the books with Ricky. He's got some new promoter that owns an energy drink company in Scotland, or I think."
Okay, well,
So
he wants to stay away from them because last time he did that, he failed a PED test. So he wants to watch what he takes.
good point. Good point.
Yeah. Although maybe like a Higgins, like when you talk about some fights down there, it could be that as in fighting in New Zealand, but maybe bringing some fights over, like a Fujimoto, for example. That'd be a massive seller, wouldn't it? Or if Parker went to Japan at least.
Well, that's a possibility is going to Asia because there's still that top
Yeah,
ranked link, I think, and Bob Arum has a foot in the door with the Chinese market, I think, so or some kind of Asian market. So
yeah. Or a
it'll
Zhang.
do. Oh, Jili Zhang's another one. Yeah, he's a top ranked fighter as well, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's actually, yeah.
Mm. So
You know that like in China, Japan, Thailand, Philippines, they love their combats and millions upon millions are made. And I'm surprised that Joshua didn't look at that avenue, right, like a rather than take on Miller as and go to Japan.
yeah, well, I guess a lot of that would depend on Eddie Hearn and what kind of foot he's got in the door in that market himself. Um,
Was
but
well,
I'm sure it wouldn't be that hard to crack into, though, eh?
well, DAZN is in Japan, so
Oh,
it'd
there
be
you go.
yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Well, what do you make of David Price taking on Cash Ali?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how good Cash Ali is yet. He hasn't faced anybody of
No,
any real note to get a good judgment. So, to a degree, I guess it's a bit of a risk. But I hear that David Price has sparred Cash Ali quite a bit, so
yeah,
he must know what he's in for, and I'm sure Cash knows as well. So, be
yeah,
interesting. I'll definitely be watching that one.
yeah. Same as. Is there any more like a heavyweight news going on, like a your neck of the woods?
We've got our local boy Hemia Hio is also fighting on the same card as Junior Farr in Columbus, I think, in
Okay,
Ohio, at the end of March. I don't think he's got an announced opponent quite yet. Um, Kind of keeping my eye out for where Willis Meehan is going. He's gotten a little bit busy. He's a Kiwi-born Australian, the son of Carly Meehan. He's a vicious 6'6" southpaw. So if you
but
ever
yeah,
get to see him fight, make sure you do. But
yeah,
yeah, we'll see where he goes. I haven't noticed anything recently, so I'd
okay.
like to see him step up. I'd like to see him fight a Junior Far or a Hemi Ahio. That'd be awesome down here.
Well, who's that lad who got the silver at the Commonwealth? The one who lost to Fraser Clark,
Oh, that was at cruiserweight, wasn't it? Or heavyweight in the
heavyweight.
amateurs.
Yeah,
Um, oh shit, I've lost his name off the top of my head. He's been in the amateur scene for quite a while, and he was talking about going pro after the Commonwealth Games, but he's still fighting as an amateur at the moment.
oh,
He's done some sparring with Joseph Parker as well.
that's
Um,
because he's Kiwi, isn't he?
David,
He's not.
yes, definitely.
Yeah,
David, someone, shit, I can't remember off the top of my head.
he's
That's
not.
not good.
I don't know. Oh.
It'll come to me somewhere further down the conversation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think after the heavyweight division is flying all over the world now. There's so many fights that can be made. So I'm fully expecting a very exciting 2019 and some shocks to happen as well.
Speaking of a shop, do you think Vladimir is going to come back this year?
I think he will, I think he'll, because apparently he was talking to DAZN about a three-fight deal, if I heard that right.
Yeah.
And he wants to finish it with the second fight against Fury and the third one against Joshua. But who the debut one is, don't know. I'd imagine it'll be some kind of knockover or maybe a Shannon Briggs, just get that one out of the way.
Yeah. Every video that I've seen around YouTube that's talking about Vlad coming back, I've commented on saying he should fight Cannon. He should fight Cannon since it never happened. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. It'd be an interesting one, wouldn't it?
Well, I think Vladimir would probably beat the living shit out of Shannon, just like Vitali did, but um, it'd certainly be entertainment, and for a comeback, it'd definitely get some publicity. So I think
Yeah.
it'd be a good thing.
Yeah. Although Briggs is coming back in March, so I heard when he's speaking to Tyson Fury. Did you see that one?
Yeah, well, he's apparently going to go and train with Tyson, isn't he? And maybe fight on the Wilder undercard.
Yeah,
So that'd be interesting.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Oh, I
Hmm.
heard that Tony Yoka versus Johan Duapa, an all French heavyweight fight. What do you think of that?
Sounds good, but I've heard that the French boxing board or the governing body in France have denied Tony Yoka's ban to be lifted at this stage.
Oh,
So he
really?
can fight anywhere else and anywhere in the world if he wants to, but he wants to fight in France, and that's the only place he's banned. So I think he's got a while to wait out yet, unless he wants to go over the ditch to the UK and maybe fight Duopo over there. That'd be a smart idea because then all the fans from France could just jump on a ferry and go and see it.
Oh, that's true. Well, I heard that. Is Yoka? Is he part of the PBC or is he part of Top Rank?
Ooh, I don't know if he's either. I think he's got a French promoter of some sort. I don't know though. To be
No,
honest, I'd have to go
yeah,
look that up.
I know he's with that. Is it Yvonne Michelle or something like that? But he's got like a co-promotional deal with some American. I think it's PBC because he's ranked in the WBC. So after over a year out, he comes back in at number 13, ranked in the WBC. So it must be PBC,
Oh,
I would
wow.
imagine.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. So he must be enrolled in the clean boxing program and doing all the testing with VADA, but um, sounds like that's not good enough for the French governing body to lift their ban. Interesting. I mean, he was never popped with anything, was he? It was just because he missed like 3 tests in a row or something.
that's right. That's right. Well, it's one of those things, isn't it? So whether he did something or whether he didn't, it's going to be a talking point with Yoka now,
Yeah.
which is
Well,
unfortunate for his career at this point.
mm, yeah, he's kind of stalled, but being enrolled with that clean boxing program and being tested year round, I guess that's going to go a long way to kind of redeeming his reputation, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. Mm.
And what do you think of the next weekend fight, Joe Joyce versus Bermane Stiverne?
Um, I think it's a pretty good fight. How would I put it? Assuming Bermain Stavern comes into the fight as Bermain Stavern instead of the imposter that he said got in the ring against Deontay Wilder. So, but it could be all over real quick. I'm picking a sort of mid to late stoppage. Um, I think Joyce is going to break him down and beat him up for a while and then stop him. But
Yeah,
Joyce will have to be careful of that counter, won't he?
exactly. I said that before as well. While Bermane Stiverne, he's not I don't want to call him a gatekeeper. That might be a bit unfair, but he's one of these kind of fighters where you wouldn't really pick him to beat too many people. But he's very, very dangerous, and he does have decent punch. And Joe Joyce is there to be hit. He gets tagged all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
guess activity is going to be the question. How many punches is Stavern going to throw?
hmm.
Uh, or is he going to be a punch bag again?
But apparently Joe Joyce beat him up in sparring right before he took on Wilder, didn't he?
Apparently so. But apparently Joe Joyce got a busted up eye in that as well. But
Hmm.
Stavern come out and said he schooled Joe Joyce, and Joe Joyce was being polite and respectful about it. But it's kind of created a bit of beef and a bit more motivation for Joe Joyce to get some of his own back. So
Yeah.
I would really like to see him beat the shit out of him and retire him. Put this Haitian on vacation.
Damn right. Damn right. Yeah, I mean, I've never really rated Stevan, and I think we all know that he only ever got that world title shot for the vacant belt against Chris Ariola because of the WBC and Don King relationship. So,
Yeah. And let's face it, Chris Ariola was never anything special either, anyway, was he?
no, 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 that's right. That's right.
Mm.
Oh, oh yeah. So Daniel Dubois, he's taking on Razvan Kajani soon, isn't he?
Yep.
Oh,
I guess the big question's going to be, can he stop him and outdo Nathan Gorman?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, for me, I think that he will stop him. I do believe he will. I think that Kajani, I think he's just resigned himself to a journeyman now. I think that's what he's done, which I think he's above journeyman level, but I think he's just resigned himself to it. Obviously, he got done badly by Luis Ortiz, and then just allowed Nathan Gorman to just beat him up. He went a distance with him, of course, but
Yeah, I think he's like a career sparring partner, to be honest. When he's in defense mode, he's pretty hard to hit and hurt. But when he tries to win a fight, because I believe that's what he did against Ortiz. I think he tried to take a few more risks and try and actually win the fight, and
mm,
that's what got him knocked the fuck out.
well, yeah,
So yeah, but credit to Ortiz. He is a wily fighter who knows how to pick his punches and set them up properly too,
yeah.
despite him being 112 years old.
Well, exactly. He's the toughest 112-year-old I know. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Yeah.
No doubt about that. So you mentioned that FA Jagba earlier as like one of your top prospects. Do you see him fighting any of the maybe top 15 in like the next year or so?
Being a PBC fighter, I doubt it.
Oh
I
yeah,
doubt
yeah,
it. I'd like to see him in against somebody like a Adam Kalnacki or something like that. That'd be awesome. But
that'd be
yeah,
interesting. Like Kaunaki, he goes under the radar, doesn't he? It's like people go, "Oh, he's crap, he's crap." They base him purely on how he looks.
exactly. Kind of. Well, there's a fight. Two little fatties who can actually fight really well would be good. Fight Andy Ruiz.
Yeah. Well, he's a PBC fighter now, isn't he, Andy Ruiz?
He
He's a
is. There's no excuse for it not to get made.
yeah, and Ruiz said when Kaunaki was fighting Gerald Washington live, and Andy Ruiz, he said that he wants to fight him next. So
Sweet. Let's get
yeah,
it.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Although Andy Ruiz, he wanted Big Baby Jarrell Miller, and the Miller said no. So
Yeah, those two have got a bit of a thing that's been going on for years. Ruiz wanted, oh, sorry, Miller wanted that fight when Ruiz was on the way up, and Bob Arum and Ruiz were like, well, what are you bringing to the table? Now Miller's got the upper hand. He's doing the same thing. So I wouldn't expect that fight to happen, to be honest, even though it's a goodie.
yeah, it is. It is. I do like Andy Ruiz Jr. I think that again, a lot of people sleep on him, but him, Kaunaki, and Jarrell Miller, they're all big lads, but they throw more punches per round than any other heavyweight around.
Interesting, isn't it? And a lot of people will say, oh, it's because they're all juicing. But I,
Yeah,
I don't like to get too much into that. I'd
no.
rather believe it's cheeseburger power.
Well, I've been trying it, but it ain't been working for me.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I think that the heavyweight division is very, very exciting at the minute. I mean, I don't know too much about the likes of like a Tom Schwartz and like Otto Wallin and that. I don't know too much about them guys, but I know that they're all ranked quite high. Have you watched these guys?
Yeah, most of those guys you're talking about have got some kind of regional belt or something like that that's gotten them into the rankings. Um, but Otto Wallin has only taken his first step up against Adrian Granat. Hasn't really fought anybody else, and Ajit Kabayel hadn't really fought a lot of people until he fought Derek Chisora. Um,
Yeah,
Tom Schwartz hasn't really fought anybody, so to a degree, you could call them still prospects, even though they're really contenders just based on their resume. But I guess they're going to have to step up one of these days if they want to make themselves available for real title shots. They're going to have to fight somebody significant or somebody that's at least in the rankings.
yeah, definitely. I suppose that we'll probably see a pretty decent fight or a big name fight for Oscar Rivas next, since he beat Brian Jennings in a bit of a shock defeat. Some people say.
To a degree, yeah. He's kind of been hiding away there in Canada with his problems getting a US license due to detached retina a few years ago, but now he's out of the shadows, and hopefully we're going to get to see him fight some decent opposition. I'm
Yeah.
guessing he'll probably fight somebody like a Charles Martin maybe next,
Mm,
as a another step up into proving his legitimacy as a contender. But it was
it-
an interesting fight, that Jennings versus Ortiz. A lot of
mm,
people thought Jennings was going to box his ears off, but
yeah.
myself and even the judges actually had um, Rivas winning the fight. There was one judge who had Jennings winning the fight by a point, but
Mm.
doesn't really matter when you get knocked out in the last round, does it?
That's probably the worst time for any fighter to get knocked out, isn't it? It's like the final round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I've just had a thought. Since
Mm.
Kubrat Pulev doesn't seem to have an opponent for his date, maybe he could fight Oscar Rivas to settle their score that they have in the amateurs, because Rivas beat Pulev in the amateurs.
Oh, did he?
Yes,
So Rivas has
in
been
the
around
Olympics.
for time then.
Yeah, he's been around a while.
Okay. I don't know too much about Rivas other than I heard somebody say he's a Don King fighter. Is that right?
That was a point I was going to get to very shortly. Was I wonder who he's promoted by? So you
Mm.
probably know more than me on that one.
No, no.
I
That's
thought he
probably.
was a PBC fighter, but yeah, I wouldn't have a clue.
No, you might be right. You might be right. It's just what some people have said. But, I don't know, maybe they're wrong. I don't know. I don't know. And where do you think that Brian James goes from here? Do you think he's now going to turn into a gatekeeper?
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah,
think if you can beat if you can beat Bright Jennings, then you deserve to be a contender. But
yeah,
he's got enough skills to sort out the weeds from the plants, if you know what I mean. I
yeah,
think, but I don't think he has the power to bother too many of the top 10 sort of thing anymore. Um,
yeah,
Especially somebody who can move as well as him. I don't think he has much of a chance, to be honest. Maybe he'd be
yeah.
better off going back to football.
Was he a football player, was he?
He was an American football player, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. He did seem to like a come undone. Obviously, he lost to Klitschko, which most people expected. Then got stopped by Luis Ortiz, and then obviously took what was it, 2 years out, 3 years out, whatever it was. I don't think that's
Yeah.
helped his cause at all.
No, he was getting around a lot of sparring camps um, after he lost to Luis Ortiz. But I don't know. From what interviews I've seen from him, he says he's always ready for work, but none of these young guys want to fight him. To a degree, I guess everybody's thinking about how much money is in a fight against Brian Jennings. He's managed by Top Rank now, and they haven't really done that well with heavyweights ever. So, well, not in the last 10 years anyway. So, I don't know, man. I think Brian Jennings is in a tough position, particularly being with Top Rank. So,
Yeah, yeah, you're probably right about that. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him go up against Andy Ruiz when Ruiz was there. It seemed that Bob Arum just didn't really know what to do with him. But I think for a
uh,
heavyweight, I think Top Rank's probably the wrong place to be for a heavyweight.
yeah. Yeah,
Because
well, it would have made sense for Jennings to fight Ruiz while they were both under the same stable, and Bob Arum could have got a double dip out of it, but I don't know what the old coot's up to. I don't
no,
think he does half the time either.
no, that's right, that's right, that's right. But like you say, though, I mean, if Bob Arum is promoting some of the Japanese guys, maybe Fujimoto is one of them. So yeah, yeah, I know there's a good chance if Oscar Rivas is with Top Rank, then maybe we could see that fight next because they're both
Yeah,
ranked kind of round about the same with the WBA and WBO. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's a decent fight. Why
yeah,
not?
it is. And lastly, what do you think about Wilder versus Fury? Do you think that fight will be announced soon? And who you got as a winner in that one?
Um, it's gonna have to be announced sort of in the next week or two. I think to a degree they were arguing, but I think also they were kind of waiting until Joshua Miller got announced for some reason, so they can sort out their dates. But it's looking
Mm.
like the 18th of May at Barclays or something, isn't it? So,
Oh, is it
um,
May
as
18th?
far
Yeah.
as May 18th, I think, yeah. So I'll be happy for it to be there. The fight itself, I think Fury's going to stop Wilder this time, round 8.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Well, I'd love it if you were right. Although,
me too.
yeah, I think most people would. I think that even like a lot of Americans, unfortunately, would like to see that as well. But I think I did like a video earlier on, which you wouldn't have seen because obviously it's like a really early in the morning for you guys. Wilder and the British Gauntlet run.
I did
Um,
see it.
oh, you did see it.
Yep.
And what do you think of the possibilities of him doing a British Gauntlet run and becoming undisputed?
Well, it looks like that's the only way it's going to happen, isn't it? Because who else is right up the top of the stack? They're all Brits at the moment, besides Wilder. So,
Yeah, well, that's right.
you
I
know,
mean, it's
yeah,
WBC White versus Brazil. Or sorry, if Dillian White beats Brazil and then WBC ordered the mandatory, which is what they were supposed to have done in December, but obviously they've postponed it for the Fury one now. Then he's going to have to face Dillian White next if he beats Brazil.
yeah. Unless he can get an undisputed fight, which would take precedent before having to fight White.
It would, but with Eddie Hearn promoting Dillian White and Joshua, I think he'd let Dillian White have the crack first, in the hope that he beats Wilder, then undisputed. What Joshua versus White.
Of course, Eddie Hearn to be pressing for that, but
Yeah,
we all know how much White and AJ don't get on. So I don't know.
yeah,
Anything could happen, eh? Anything
yeah,
could
that's
happen.
right. Yeah, it would. It would. No, I think that. I mean, it's interesting. I think that before end of June, I think the heavyweight landscape is going to look totally different after what it is right now. Totally
Yeah,
different. Yeah. But
agreed.
But even those who lose, so I mean, even if White does beat Brazil and Joshua beats Miller, no reason why Miller versus Brazil can't happen. Or if Fury beats Wilder, Wilder versus Brazil still could happen.
Yeah, good. I
Right.
actually quite like that. The thought of Miller versus Brazil. That's a pretty good slug and fight, I think.
It is. It is. Yeah. So although I do feel if Wilder loses, I think he'll probably quit because I think that he's made more money than what he dreamed he was going to make. And especially with his rematch against Fury. And if he's serious about becoming an actor, as he calls it, that's his passion. I think he may just give up boxing.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's ever been that passionate about boxing in the first place, is he? He doesn't ever seem like he's out running anywhere. Doesn't run. Um, the training clips you see of him are very short and pretty much only on pads or weights, and that's it. So
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know how much heart's in it. He's only doing it for the money to support his giant family. So kudos to him for that. But it is what
Absolutely.
it is.
That's right. Yeah, get all that paper and take it back to Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I hope that you're right. I'd love it for Fury to, although it would be a shock, to be honest. I think that most people wouldn't pick Fury to knock out Wilder, but I don't know. I think that like, even in the first fight, I thought that Fury had Wilder hurt. I think it was round number 7. He stumbled Wilder, and Fury just stood back and smiled. I think had you jumped on him, you never know.
Yep.
But
Yeah, I
I mean,
think Fury might have been feeling a bit of the pace at that stage, but
yeah.
he possibly could have stopped him.
What do you think of Fury's statement saying that Wilder cannot improve on what he'd done in the first fight, whereas he can improve by 40, 50%?
Well, I don't know if Tyson can improve by that much. I think that's been pretty dramatic. Maybe 20 to 30% tops. But as for Wilder, can improve, I'm sure he can improve. But
Yeah, but
how
will he
he
though?
can improve is actually follow a game plan instead of being emotional and trying to headhunt all the time. But he's proven that that's what he does. He gets emotional and he wants to get a knockout. That's what it's all about for him.
That's
So
right. That's
you
right.
try too hard to get a knockout and it doesn't come. We all know that saying.
That's right. Well, they always say that if all you've got is a big punch, at some point you're a loss waiting to happen.
Yeah. One trick pony, man.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Although some I've been watching this channel. I forgot the damn channel's name, but there's some guy on there. He's really funny called Leon Muhammad. Have you seen him?
No, can't recall.
He used to be a boxer in like the 50s and 60s, but he's known as a boxing manager. He's in the Hall of Fame. It's Leon Muhammad. He knew Muhammad Ali quite well. He managed like Leon Spinks and plenty of others. And he's very, very brash, and he's very good friends with Don King, and he talks like Don King as well. And he says that Wilder, in 14 years of putting on boxing gloves, has not improved since the day that he walked in the gym.
Oh dear.
He says
Yeah,
that,
it must be tough for his coaches, eh? Because he's stuck in his frame of mind, what works for him, and doesn't seem to be willing to add any more tools to his um, toolbox. But you know,
yeah,
as a lot of Wilder fans will say, he gets the job done, and that's what counts. So, okay, man, if that's how you want to play it, then play it like that. You'll lose one day soon.
that's right. That's right. Well, I mean, like I've been on YouTube for 2 years now, and since like you and me have been talking, we've always said that Wilder is a decision loss waiting to happen.
Yeah,
Well, he is, and technically it's already happened, right? But he gets the decisions.
yeah.
Although, what do you make? So Frank Warren and BT Sport offered to pay Joshua just his purse of $50 million, but yet they're not willing to cough up the money to bring Wilder to the UK. So, in other words, in my opinion, I think they're afraid of it going to a purse bid in case they lose.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and I think the WBC are helping with everything possible to try and not let anybody else get that fight.
Yeah,
It's pretty disgusting, but yeah, it's the WBC. They've made some good decisions lately. I will give them that, but
yeah,
the majority of the time they make absolutely bullshit decisions.
they do.
Right.
They do. But I feel that with the WBC, I mean, as you said, so they've ordered White versus Brazil. Yeah, they should have done this 12 months ago or even before. And with Wilder versus Fury, they're only doing it because it's money. That's my honest opinion. There's nothing else about it. It is purely it's good money. Hence the reason why they've upped Fury's price from the usual 30% to 40%.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, I just think that I don't know. I think the WBC looked at that fight and thought, no, no, no. Fury won that fight, and obviously Fury's bringing a lot of eyes and ears to the sport. That brings on good money, and they'd be quite happy for Fury to wear their belt.
Quite possibly. He's a good advocate for boxing, especially with his new backstory coming back from the doldrums and whatnot. But yeah, it seems like they maybe have kind of taken a disliking to Wilder and his actions, hence ordering the fight. Um, if Tyson Fury didn't want the rematch, there was nothing stopping him walking away. But if Wilder wanted to walk away, he would lose his belt. So,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, interesting.
And also, I think that I mean, if Tyson Fury won, I think he's more likely to not make negotiations too difficult for fighting AJ. Although Frank Warren's always going to be a bit of an obstacle there, I think. Uh, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. I mean, have you spoken about that Wilder and Fury both wanting 50-50 against Joshua? Have you spoken about this one before?
Well, to a degree, I've mentioned it and said these guys are starting high and maybe it's bringing down to negotiations, but then Wilder's turned around and said 50-50 or fuck off. So uh,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Uh, I think they're being a bit delusional to a degree. I could understand if Fury beats Wilder gets that WBC belt, and don't forget he also holds the lineal title. If he's asking 50-50 against Joshua, then I think that's more reasonable than prior to beating Wilder. But
Yeah,
possibly, depending on how Joshua goes with his US numbers on debut, it may still end up 60-40.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So you think that if Fury beats Wilder, then potentially it's not an unreasonable ask for 50-50?
Yeah, I'd I'd probably say 45-55 would be about right in my
Yeah,
books, but 50-50 is not that far off.
yeah. No, I
Mm.
agree because like a Fury, not only will he bring the WBC title, but he'll also bring that star pulling power as well.
Yeah,
So
and all
yeah,
the new US fans that he's going to gain if he beats Wilder.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've heard that that a Fury is very, very popular in America. Very popular. I guess that they fell in love with his backstory as such, even though his backstory, by his own admission, is self-inflicted. A lot of
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, he's got no one else to blame for it, but he's still reaping the benefits from it.
it. Yeah, fair play. Fair play.
Mm.
Although I did like your point though when you spoke about the WBC not putting up an extra week extension or anything, they just allowed it to continue. Your point was, well, what was the point of putting it on there in the first place in a deadline?
Exactly. Yeah. A purse bid's there for a reason, isn't it?
That's
It's
right.
supposed to force them to make a deal, but if you're just going to chuck the expiry date out the window, then what's the point of having a purse bid in the first place? Ridiculous.
No, exactly right. Exactly right. But I mean, you would have thought that WBC would have been happy for a purse bid because that's going to generate more money, isn't it, for them?
Well, you'd think so, but I've had a few comments on my channel about maybe Al Heyman has some kind of dirt on Mauricio Solomon and he's saving it for a rainy day. And Mauricio Solomon doesn't want that information to come out, so he'll do whatever Al Heyman tells him to do. I don't know. It's just a theory.
Well, it would. Well, obviously, I don't know about that, but I mean, it would make sense because the PBC have more WPC champions than anybody else, and more of their fighters ranked within their sanctioning body than anyone else. So it would make sense.
Funny that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Funny
not talking
that.
heavyweight, I'm talking up and down the divisions. You know, they're like
Yeah,
stacked full of PBC fighters.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean, much
It's very much an American based or American and Mexican based um, governing body. They favor those fighters for sure.
yeah, exactly. I mean, especially if you're Mexican and you're a big draw like Canelo, that's why they were so desperate for Canelo to fight Triple G and that. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of Canelo versus Jacobs?
It's a good fight, and I
Mm,
think Daniel Jacobs deserves it too. Um,
yeah.
how he's going to go, I'm not sure. I'm probably still going to pick Canelo in that fight, but I
Mm,
wouldn't at all be surprised if it ends up going to the cards and Jacobs ends up winning.
yeah.
Depends on how much influence Golden Boy's going to have on the judges, I guess.
That's
it,
right.
it it's pretty hard to beat Canelo on points, no matter who you are or how well you perform.
That is very, very true. That is very true. And then do you think that Triple G will sign with Matchroom and DAZN?
I think he's maybe will sign with the zone. I'm not too sure about Metro.
Yeah.
Um, but what's he on a fight by fight basis at the moment, or is it a short term deal with the zone at the moment? So um,
I'm
in
not
that
too sure.
weight division, you pretty much got to be fighting on the zone to get the good fights, don't you? Because most of the best fighters at 160 are signed to the zone.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it would certainly make sense. Which makes you question about Jamal Charlo. I mean, for me, he got a little bit exposed in his last fight, but you know, all fighters go through that. All fighters have an off night at the office. I mean, especially if your brother loses the fight before. But I feel that Jamal at 160 is out in the wilderness. I think that he dropped the ball when he could have made a whole lot more money with Matchroom, and obviously top fights now on DAZN. So I think now he's going to be out in the wilderness, even though he's mandatory.
Big time. He's Canelo's mandatory, isn't he?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And
Well, I guess one way or another that fight will have to happen sooner or later, unless someone loses. But
that's right.
he certainly made it hard for himself being on the wrong side of the street to get good fights.
That's right. That's right.
Mm.
Well, speaking of being on the wrong side of the street, Errol Spence Jr. Is he? Do you think that he's going to beat Mikey Garcia, or do you think that people are overlooking
Well,
Mikey Garcia for this one?
I think Mikey's how would I put this? He's got big balls, but there's a fine line between big balls and stupid. And I think he's walking right on that line. I think Errol Spence is going to beat him up. He's just too big. No
Yeah,
matter how good Mikey is, I think the size difference is just going to be too much.
yeah,
But,
yeah. I agree. Which is a bit unfortunate because he's going to lose his O, and because at some point Errol Spence is going to realise this guy he's pumping himself up to 147. And so he's naturally like what 130-pound fighter, 135. These shots are not hurting me, so I'm just gonna steamroll you now. At some point, the penny
yeah.
will drop with Errol Spence, and he'll just do him.
Even if Mikey can throw punches in the early rounds that are heavy enough to get a little bit of respect, having to put that much into those punches just to get respect in the early rounds, he's going to have to stop Spence early or he's going to run out of gas throwing that many power shots. So
Yeah,
I think there ain't much of a chance for Mikey, unfortunately.
no, no. I mean, for me, what was worrying about it when Mark Garcia he fought Adrian Broner. I mean, he dominated Adrian Broner like quite comfortably, but that was at 140, so that's £7 less. And he said after the fight, because he was starting to gas for like the last like a 4 or 5 rounds, he was noticeably slowing down. And he says because I had too much weight on me. I was like,
Yeah.
right, okay, so now you can put on even more weight to go up against a bigger puncher in Errol Spence. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what weight he comes in. I hope he's not going to try and pump himself up to 147. I think he should just put himself at his most comfortable weight, regardless of what it is, and fight to the best of his ability and hope that he can land something early and get it done. But pretty damn unlikely.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, Mark Garcia, he wanted this fight, so he must be seeing something in Errol Spence that says, "I'm going to beat you."
I wonder if there's anything in the contract about fight day weights or anything. Because Errol Spence is like 165 pounds, 170 when he walks into the ring, usually, isn't he? So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, because he's IBF champion, he does have the same day. Also, no, is it the morning of the fight? Is it? They have to weigh in.
okay. And they still have to be under 147
No, no. I think that on the
or
morning of the
10%
fight,
over.
they can't be any more than £10 over it,
Yeah.
something like that. I'm not exactly sure of the
Okay.
rule, to be honest with you, but I know that there is some kind of limit. But then after the morning weigh-in, you can weigh whatever you like. I'm in the
Okay.
evenings.
Yeah. Yeah. Quite
Mm.
hard to understand some of those weight restrictions, and every governing body has different ones at the moment. WBC are bringing in new ones as well. So,
I do.
um, certainly complicates things.
It
But
does.
yeah, it could give Mikey a bit more of a chance if Errol Spence can't be too heavy on fight day.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless Mikey Garcia does what Daniel Jacobs done. When Daniel Jacobs he fought Triple G, and he deliberately missed the weigh-in, and knowing that the IBF title won't be on the line, just so he could have a
Yep.
bit of a weight advantage in the fight.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I
Not
don't know.
much point really in going into a fight if you can't win the title, right? Is it? I
No, no.
guess for Mikey, it's a money fight, really, isn't it? For Mikey,
Oh, of
so
course.
to a degree, I don't think he's really expecting to win himself, but
No.
he'll certainly be winning when he takes his check to the bank.
Yeah. No doubt. Especially, I mean, if they manage to sell out that arena as well, the AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, holds 100,000 people.
Oh yeah,
I mean, imagine the atmosphere there. I mean,
yeah.
that'd be electric. I'm presuming that's some kind of NFL stadium. I'm presuming. I don't know anything about American football, but I'm only presuming it's for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know either.
No. But yeah, I mean, 100,000. And I mean, do you think it will beat the Wilder versus Fury and Pacquiao versus Broner pay-per-view figures?
I think it'll be Wilder Fury. I don't know the figures for Pacquiao Broner.
410, I think it was.
Yeah, it'll beat that.
Yeah.
It'll beat
Yeah, I
that. I
think
reckon.
it'll probably do about 500,000 to 600,000.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a shame that we don't know what the numbers are going to be for American sales for DAZN for Joshua Miller, isn't it? Because they won't release their numbers.
Yeah, I wish they would because that'd put a lot of arguments to bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunate. We're not
Well,
going to know.
well, I mean, if they get like a million new subscribers, they may announce that, you know. But I mean, if it doesn't do too great, they'll probably keep it under wraps. Although
Yeah.
Showtime never actually officially released the Wilder vs Fury, did they? So, yeah, so a lot of that is speculation, which is making people wonder if it's actually far less than what the rumors are of 320.
Well, yeah, that's a point. A lot of certain people's arguments are based on uh, Anthony Joshua's numbers in the UK are only estimates, but it seems Showtime are doing the same goddamn thing now. So,
That's right.
uh, yeah, that argument void.
It is. It is. I don't know. I mean, boxing's an interesting time now. I mean, are you finding yourself watching like a lot more different weight divisions now?
Yeah, I watch a lot of stuff from sort of 140 up now.
Yeah,
I I love the light heavyweight division at the moment. That's stacked with a shitload of really good fighters and it's competitive.
that's really good. Isn't
Um,
it? Like Bivol and that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Who's the one there, do you think?
Sorry.
Who's the number one there at light heavyweight, in your opinion?
Ooh, I can't really put a finger on it to be honest. I really do like Dimitri Bivol. I think he's a very good fighter and he's going to go a long way. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of guys in there, you know. Shit, I really can't pick a best at the moment.
Mm.
But
Well, what do you think of Callum Smith calling out Sergey Kovalev?
yeah, good fight. Good fight. Apparently, Kovalev's got no problem fighting him as well. So hopefully, we're going to get to see that made. Um, Kovalev
Yeah,
seems to have a new lease of life, and I want to see Callum Smith in some very competitive fights against the best because he's the goods as well. So
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Did you watch the Kovalev versus Alvarez fight? That was it last weekend or the weekend before?
Yeah, yeah, I did watch it. I was a little bit surprised to be honest. It was a different Kovalev to the one we saw in the first fight.
That's
And I
what I asked
also
you.
I think Alvarez underestimated Kovalev. He thought he was just going to be able to knock him out with one punch, but
Yeah,
Kovalev's got a new coach again, so
yeah,
um, it seems to be making a hell of a difference. He stopped drinking that vodka for a pre-workout, maybe.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
just got to sort out his legal problems, and then maybe he can get back to boxing properly.
Yeah. Well, I thought all those legal problems with him beating up that girl or alleged may have played a part in him getting absolutely undone against Alvarez. But
In the first one, yeah,
I was way off on that
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. It
Yeah,
is what it is, and yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of action at 147 as well. Um, Even at 154, I'm enjoying that division as well. So
154.
yeah, Jared Hurd. I'd still like to see him fight Jamel Charlo, but
Mm,
um, he could fight Harrison one of these days and unify. That'd be awesome.
yeah.
Um,
Well, there's talks about making Kell Brook versus Jarrett Hurd. And Kell Brook versus Jeff Horn as well. That's another one that's been popping up lately.
Yeah, I have heard a bit about Horn wanting the fight with Brook.
Mm,
I don't know if that's such a good idea for Brook. It's a rough fight, but
yeah,
he's got the cyborg eye sockets, so he might come out on top if the heads keep clashing in that one.
yeah,
Um, yeah, Hurd versus Brook. That's a good fight as well. I'd love to see that one.
yeah.
Um,
I think that
is
154 would probably suit Jeff Horn. I think 147 because he struggles to make the weight, doesn't he? And I think 154 he looks like a pretty decent puncher. I mean, was he what 162 or something against Mundine?
yeah,
So
yeah, he fought.
carrying power.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he'll ever make 147 again. To be honest, I think it was too much of a struggle before, and it was getting detrimental to his performance. Um,
Mm,
you know, the only way he'd ever go back down to 154 is if Pacquiao decided he actually did want his rematch. The money would be too much for him to turn down, but Pacquiao's made it clear that's not going to happen. So,
right.
um, yeah, well, Jeff Horn will be at 154 or 160 for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Well, speaking of 147 though, with like Manny Pacquiao, obviously Manny Pacquiao is a regular champion. Keith Thurman is a super champion for WBA. I noticed that at number 6 is Conor Benn.
Oh my God,
Could you imagine
he's
Conor
right.
Benn, Manny Pacquiao?
He's he's writing Daddy's name, isn't he? That's the only reason he's there,
Yeah,
surely.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you know what? Good luck to him, and I hope he goes on to achieve even half of what his dad done. But I think putting him at number 6 is a complete waste of a ranking because Pacquiao or Thurman could give him a voluntary, and
Yeah.
I think they would destroy him.
You know, do you think Connor would take one of those shots if he was offered it?
I think he's too brave for his own good.
Mm, yeah. He's not ready for that sort of shit yet.
Well, no, that's it. Especially as he's calling out, he wants to fight Josh Kelly. I'm like, but Josh Kelly would annihilate you right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Agreed.
and what do you think of Crawford versus Khan?
That's a good fight too. I mean, there's always going to be that vulnerability there for Amir Khan, but everybody who knows boxing knows that he's actually got some pretty good skills if he doesn't get tapped on the chin. So
I agree.
could be very interesting. Um, I do think Khan's going to lose though, and I think
Yes.
it's probably going to be a stoppage.
Yeah.
So I'd love
Hey,
to be surprised.
well, yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that
Mm.
even though Khan is getting paid less against Crawford than he would have done for Kell Brook, do you think it's a case of that Amir Khan wouldn't be able to look himself in the mirror if he lost to Kell Brook? That's why he's taken the Crawford fight.
Yeah, or maybe it's fight Crawford first, and even if he loses, he's going to hope that Kell Brook still wants to fight him. But
Well, yeah, yeah.
I
But
don't know.
I mean, if he loses to Crawford, and if and it is a huge if, um, Kell Brook takes on Jarrett Hurd, beats Jarrett Hurd, and gets a unified WBA and IBF 154-pound titles. Kell Brook's going to want to be the A side, so that's going to scupper any kind of fight between them two as well. Of course, Amir Khan will not allow Kell Brook to be an A side.
Yeah, and Kell Brook would probably want to concentrate on activity at 154 after that if he gets that belt as well. So there ain't
That's
no
right.
way in hell Amir Khan's coming up to 154. No freaking way.
Not last time, but Canelo nearly killed him. So it's not
Exactly.
it is not a good idea for him to do that. I
Mm,
think one more big punch like that, he could be, I don't know, out dead.
yeah.
Wrap him up in those cloths and get throwing him overboard because he ain't waking up. I don't think
Yeah.
it's a suicide move, in my opinion. Well, what fight's happening this weekend? Is there anything?
I had a quick look, but I didn't notice too much on that I was interested in. I do notice there's actually a top ranked card that is starting on a stream I saw right now. The undercard's starting, and I can't remember the names of the main events that are on. in a couple of hours. But
Oh,
there is something on.
that's a Thomas Patrick Ward, isn't it? He's in the
Oh, there
headline.
you go.
Yeah,
There you go. Yeah.
he's from my city here. He's Thomas Patrick Ward. He's 24-0.
Could be worth a look for entertainment. I can't say I know too much about the guys, but yeah,
Yeah,
if there's nothing else on, I'll
yeah.
always watch a boxing match if it's on.
Well, yeah, they're fighting some for some Naboo title. I know someone's got to play Star Wars, but it's like a NA title, which is
They're
weird.
fighting Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I think that this because Thomas Patrick Ward is 24-0, and he's a mandatory for one of the world titles. So I don't know why he's taking this fight. It's a weird for me.
Stay busy.
Yeah,
Surely stay busy.
yeah, maybe. And of course, he's traveling to America as well. He's got Lewis Ritson and that in his corner as well, because
Oh,
obviously they're all from like the same kind of era.
yep. Very cool.
Is there anything on tomorrow? Any kind of decent fights?
I did see there was a card on tomorrow. Shit, was it in the morning? So it must be UK somewhere.
You on
Didn't
the
notice didn't notice who was on it, but I did notice there was something starting at 7 a.m. New Zealand time. So that's what's 8 o'clock PM over there, somewhere there.
Interesting. I mean, if there is a UK card on, then I'm unaware of it.
I could be wrong. Maybe it was a US card. I can't quite remember, to be honest.
Well, the next weekend there's a couple of UK cards. You've got James DeGale versus Chris Eubank Jr.
Yep. And
and
that's got Stavern and Joyce on that card too, doesn't it?
yeah, correct, yeah. Although the rest of the card is pretty crap. I've got to be honest. It's
Okay.
pretty awful.
That one's going on Showtime in the US too, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, Showtime or Fox. I'm not too sure which one it is.
Yep.
And there's a BT Sport card as well, which I'm not even going to talk about, to be honest. It looks awful.
It's not the Debra one. Is that a couple of weeks away yet still?
Yeah, no. It's the one with. It's now headlined by Anthony Yard against another top-rated unknown with multiple losses on his record.
Might as well be a TBA.
Yeah, right. Right. I think you'd sell more tickets if it's a TBA. So I'm not excited for that fight at all. I mean, to be fair, you see, a lot of the fights that Frank Warren does put on outside of the main events, his undercard are 50-50 fights. Trouble is, we've never fucking heard of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's going to be his struggle, and I think Frank Warren is putting too much emphasis on making Josh Warrington a pay-per-view star.
Yeah.
He ain't pay-per-view. Outside of Leeds, people just don't warm to him. You know,
Well, I think old Frank Fish Eyes is getting pretty desperate these days, isn't he?
I think so.
Poor old dinosaur.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, to put Josh Warrington against Kid Galahad as pay-per-view, hey, listen, it's a good fight. It's a very interesting fight, but pay-per-view, oh, hell no. And hopefully he doesn't. I mean, it's still in talks as to whether or not it will be. I think one time he said no, other time he said maybe. So we're still waiting to see if it's going to be a pay-per-view or not. But if it is pay-per-view, I'm not too sure if I want to pay for that. And I buy most pay-per-views, you know.
Yeah.
But,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Hey man, I'm quite out of time, so I'm gonna have to leave you. But thank you very much for having me on. It's been a pleasure as usual, and look forward to some more conversations in the future.
No worries, but yeah, I've got to get off as well. What's the time now? I haven't checked the computer in a while. Oh, 11:30 p.m. Yep. I'm going to shoot as well.
Oh, good.
All right, Johnny, you take care now, and we'll catch you again soon. Well, when are you next live?
Probably Sunday, your time, Sunday night.
Sunday night. Okay. So I'll probably go live tomorrow, and I'll try and get like a bunch of channels on.
That's the one, mate.
Yeah, so I'll
try
get
drop in.
yeah, I'll try and get a few. I'll try and get Bruce Vane on, and McGregor, and a few others. So
Hitman.
Hitman, of
Give him a
course, yeah,
shout.
Hitman.
Yeah.
Um,
Cool.
yeah, I mean, I'll have a look. I'll spend like a tomorrow morning trying to gather up some invites, and I'll probably go on probably about 10 p.m. UK time tomorrow. So it'd be
Sweet
about
as.
what, nine in the morning for you.
Yep. Cool as.
All right, boss, you take care now.
All right, man. You too.
All right, buddy, take care. Bye bye.
Yep.
Oh.